I'm not going to doubt him. I'm going to be the last one to that party to say that Tom Brady can't accomplish something. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization bringing the entire supporting cast back, giving Tom Brady exactly what he wants, there's no reason to think that he can't go out there and play at a high level, not only in 2021, but also in 2022.
My goodness, that would mean he was winning a Super Bowl at the age of 45 at youngest. Meanwhile, speaking of young, can Justin Fields lead the Bears to the playoffs? Can he or can't he?
I'm going to say he can, and I know Justin Fields is a rookie. There's going to be a learning curve that comes along with playing quarterback in the National Football League, but Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are desperate, and I have every confidence that they're going to do everything within their ability to try to help their young quarterback be a difference maker. The Bears had the worst quarterback play in the division last year, so there's nowhere to go but up. They've got a defense that's ready to win. It's just a matter of Justin Fields making the plays. I'm going to bet he can.
All right, and then one more. Can Dak Prescott lead the Cowboys to the Super Bowl? Can he or can't he?
Greeny, we say it every offseason. The Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl, but I honestly believe that they have a legitimate chance. Like, listen, paying Dak Prescott and putting that drama to the side is only going to help everybody in that locker room, everybody around that organization. And then the addition of Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator, coupled with the fact that they invested heavily on the defensive side of the ball in the draft, 8 out of their 11 draft picks were on defense. I feel like the Dallas drastically there. And if their defense is just average, this is absolutely a playoff team.
My goodness, you two. I have this fight with everybody. I got to deal with Marcus on this.
Well, Greedy, you're betting on Ryan Fitzpatrick taking the Washington football team to the playoffs, and he ain't been to the playoffs in 17 years.
I will say this. If Dan Quinn can turn that defense around, he's the most underpaid person in all of sports. Meanwhile, the Cowboys getting into the playoffs would be a team that missed it last year that got in this year. So I want everyone to give me one team that was not in the playoffs last season that will make it this season. Ryan Clark, I start with you.
It's going to be the Denver Broncos, Greeny. They got, you have Cortland Sutton, you have Jerry Jeudy, you draft Javonte Williams. Oh, and your quarterback is going to be Aaron Rodgers. So you heard what they said earlier. If Aaron Rodgers is on your team, then your team wins 10, 11, 12 games. Those picks won't mean a thing. And that's exactly what's going to happen. When Aaron Rodgers becomes the quarterback of the Denver Broncos, which I expect to happen in, mid-August, late August, Adam Schefter will be reporting on it. And then that team immediately becomes one of the number one competitors for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Absolutely. Kimberly Martin, you are next. Give me a team that didn't make it last year that's going to make it this year.
Greeny, I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. Why? Because Chris Greer and Brian Flores. I believe in them. They've got the QB in Tua. They had an A-plus draft, taking Waddle, a Notre Dame offensive lineman, and Eichenberg. Who doesn't love a Notre Dame offensive lineman? I mean, this team is stacked on offense and defense now. I think this division, the Dolphins are going to give the Bills a run. That's my opinion.
Plus, Jalen Phillips, if he stays healthy on that defensive line, might have been the best defensive player in this entire draft. Chris Canty, a team that missed it last year that's going to make it this year.
Greeny, for me, it's the Chargers. They had a top 10 defense, top 10 offense from a year ago. They fortified that offensive line by bringing over Corey Linsley, Matt Flair, and then adding Rashawn Slater at the top of the draft. Then they've got the opportunity to have the NFC East on their schedule so they can get fat against that division. But, yeah, I really love the Chargers. It seems like they're ready to go as long.
RC. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, more or less, 11.5 wins.
I'm going to say
who made
over
that line, Greeny?
It's got to be over that, RC. It's got to be.
RC.
Yeah, who made that line? Way more. I mean, like, way more. Like, almost double that more by the end of the season. I mean, they play 17 games. You can win 16, 15, maybe 17 of those. And then you add the playoff games they went on the way to the Super Bowl. It might be like 20. Who made that? Like, they just trying to lose money in Vegas now, man. Golly.
It's interesting that you should say that. Because yesterday, I had Rob Gronkowski on my radio show. Now, you heard the comments that Tom Brady made about saying he would trade 2 of his Super Bowl rings for an unbeaten season. I asked Gronk about that. Here's what he said.
I don't want to trade in any because I think there's a chance, in my life to be on a team like that. So I don't feel like I don't have to trade in any Super Bowl rings. So I see in the future that I have a chance, to be on a team like that. So I ain't trading any rings in. I just got to keep going for it.
Ryan Clark, did Rob Gronkowski just suggest he thinks the Buccaneers can go unbeaten this season?
You absolutely right. Because guess what? We don't foresee Gronk trying to even play as long as Tom Brady is trying to play. So you know what he said? He said we got all 22 plus back. Because remember, they got the 22 back, and then they added some people, and Antonio Brown came back. So Rob Gronkowski said, you know what, Tom? The rings we've won already because we're about to get an undefeated season right now. And it's so hard, y'all, to predict an undefeated season. But here is what I'll say. I feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will only lose games this year that they want to. That's how good, confident, and how much chemistry this team is going to have this year. To bring back all the people, for guys to not go chase money, to come back to the same place where it started, where you won it last year, the way that this team seemed to perform down the stretch, I believe that it's extremely possible. I wouldn't bet on it, but if it happened, I won't be surprised.
Is it? Wow, that's more credibility to it than I would have expected. Canty, what do you think?
Yeah, RC got to chill out on that one. There's no way that the Tampa Bay Bucks are going undefeated, even if they are bringing the band back together. There's a reason why there's only one team in the Super Bowl era that's been able to pull it off, the 1972 Dolphins. That being said, I love where this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is at. I love what Tom Brady has done in terms of changing the culture in there. I can love all of those things, but I can still acknowledge that it's going to be hard to go undefeated. And adding another regular season game to it just gives them teams around the NFL another chance to knock them off.
RC.
Excuse me. When did Chris Canty turn into Dan Graziano? When did he want to come on the show, stop all the fun with his facts and stuff? That's why nobody's ever done it since 1972 Dolphins. Last year, people were predicting the Kansas City Chiefs might do it. They just lost to the Raiders. I mean, why can't the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do it? The New England Patriots won 16 with this same quarterback. No, I would only talk this way to Chris when I was on my TVU, because obviously if we were in person, his size would probably intimidate me into being nicer. But since we are away, Chris, you need to know when you're on the show with me, logic and facts and history don't matter. We are going for the now. And in the now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are good enough to make this happen.
All right, Kmart, let me put it this way to you. All right, so there's 17 regular season games, which would give them the number 1 seed, and then 3 more for the Super Bowl. So over under 19.5 wins for the Bucs. Which way do we go?
I say under. Listen, I think they could repeat as Super Bowl champions, but this whole undefeated thing, I would love to be 19 again. I would love to have a skinnier waist. I would love to know how to cook. All these things I would love, but are just not going to happen in my lifetime. This is just a thing that's not going to happen, and it's fine. They're still going to be good. They could still win the Super Bowl, but them going undefeated, it's not going to happen, RC. And I know they're probably going to hear this and be like, this girl, what is she talking about? But no, it's not going to happen.
Okay, fair enough. The likelihood of it, of course, not very high. Orlovsky has already called for the possibility of it. Gronk is talking about it. We will see where all that winds up going. Meanwhile, that's one group of Bucks that we've been talking about. Let's talk about another group of Bucks. How about the Milwaukee Bucks? Game of the night last night. Giannis and the Bucks taking on the Wizards. Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Spectacular. Fourth quarter, under 90 to play. Wizards down by 4. Westbrook, Beal. Beal, throw it down, big fella, with authority. Beal throwing it down for 2 of his 42 on the night. Next possession, Beal, Mr. Outside, as well as Mr. Inside. Knock it down to 3. We got a good game. 14 seconds to go. Milwaukee up by 2. Drew Holiday probing, stepping back. 3, no good. Brook Lopez. Oh, the offensive rebound on the putback. Milwaukee up by 4. Other end, 7 seconds left. Get used to that combination. Westbrook to Beal. Beal for 3. It's good. Wizards down by 1. Stay with the play. I want you to watch what happens on the ensuing inbounds. That's Raul Neto. He's got the steal they need, but the foot is on the line. Take another look at just how close they are to getting the defensive play they need. And so instead, they get this. The Bucks inbounding. It's up and good. This is the Wizards' last chance to win it. The fling, and it's not there. Westbrook would score 29.